Welcome to Inside the Lines. Alongside Jared Smith, I'm Ariel Epstein. The New York Knicks are at home tonight, facing off with the Eastern Conference leaders, the Milwaukee Bucks. The Knicks getting 12.5 points, the total 227. Two very different styles these two teams have. How does that play a factor when handicapping this game?
Yeah, of course. In this game, a clash of styles. The Bucks, they like to speed it up. They play on the fastest pace in the league. The Knicks like to slow it down, a bottom five pace team. Whoever can get the better of that style. I do expect some tired legs for the Knicks coming off that loss last night against the Heat. So a tough matchup, obviously, against Giannis, reigning MVP. We'll see if the Bucks can speed it up. If they do, they have a chance to cover.
The Knicks 4-10 to the under at home this season. Our next game is the Memphis Grizzlies hosting the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings laying 1.5 points with the total at 220. I know you're not in love with this game, Jared. However, when you're not in love with the game, maybe you go with the prop?
Yeah, and that's the great thing about the FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a lot of different ways that you can bet these games. If you don't love a side, if you don't like the money line, if you don't like the total, go with a prop. In this case, Ja Morant. We know he can score. We know he can make those crazy dunks. He can also dish it as well. His assist prop tonight is 7.5. He's got 28 assists over his last 3 games. I'm going over for Ja to drop some dimes.
And I actually like the Kings minus 1.5 in this game, with the Grizzlies giving up the 5th most points in the NBA this season. Our last game of this segment is the LA Clippers at the San Antonio Spurs. The Clippers laying 6.5 points with the total at 225.5. Jared, who do you like in this game? Yeah,
interesting spot for the Clippers coming off the loss. The Spurs are one of the worst teams ATS in the league. But the note that I really like on this game, the Clippers coming off of a loss this season are 7-1. They're averaging 125 points in those games. Kawhi and company don't like to lose. I think they get back on track tonight. We've seen a little bit of line movement here favoring the Clippers. I will go with LA swallowing the points.
And I like the over in this game, with the Clippers being a top 5 offense, the Spurs being a bottom 10 defense.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of points in this game. Give me the over. Coming up next, we're going to preview a few more games. Stay tuned here on Inside the Lines.
They say less is more, but we believe more is more. That's why we build FanDuel Sportsbook with more ways to bet, more ways to fund your account, more ways to cash in, and more ways to cash out, with payouts delivered straight to your bank account in as little as 48 hours. You want more? You got it. Join today and get a risk-free bet worth up to $500. FanDuel Sportsbook. More ways to win.
Welcome back to Inside the Lines. Alongside Jared Smith, I'm Ariel Epstein. The Houston Rockets on the road at the Phoenix Suns. The Rockets, 8.5-point favorites at the Suns. 234.5 is the total. Jared, the Rockets opened up this game at -5. Now it's at -8.5. Why the line move?
Yeah, I'm assuming it has something to do with Devin Booker. Keep an eye on Devin Booker's status as we get closer to game time here. But we mentioned the Clippers coming off that loss. The Rockets are the ones that beat them. So I think the Clippers might rebound in the game we talked about earlier. Rockets may be a bit of a letdown spot for them. I like the Suns getting a lot of points at home. Phoenix hasn't been the most trustworthy team. They got off to that hot start. However, they play on that fast pace. We'll see if the Rockets can slow down the Suns' offense tonight. But again, keep an eye on Devin Booker. That injury status is going to have an impact on this line.
It's also the Suns' first home game since playing back-to-back road games. How much does that play a factor?
It does. Sometimes when you come off that long road trip and you come back home, you feel a little bit comfortable. Maybe you get off to a little bit of a slow start. But again, we're seeing a lot of points for the Rockets to cover. Their defense hasn't been great this year. They're coming off that big win against the Clippers, arguably their biggest win of the season. We'll see if they can continue that momentum. But again, we're not betting who wins the game. We're betting the spread. The Suns getting a lot of points at home. I think there's a little bit of a nibble worth on the dog here.
And I'm betting the over, actually, which is why I do think the Suns might keep pace at home with this high-scoring Rockets team. Our last game that we're going to preview is the Minnesota Timberwolves playing the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers now 6.5-point favorites. It went from 5.5 to 6.5, total 229.5. Jared, who are you going with?
Yeah, keep an eye on Karl Anthony Towns' status. That injury is going to impact the line. I'll take the Blazers at home. Not a whole lot to this game. Minnesota's defense has been pretty porous this season.
I like the Blazers as well. All right, it's Dollar Holla time. Jared, you go first.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Kawhi Leonard facing his former team in San Antonio. 30 points plus a Clippers win plus 330. We got to sprinkle it.
I love that we're going with the same game, and I'm doing one of those same game parlays. Great feature on the FanDuel Sportsbook. I like Paul George over 25.5 points. Montrezl Harrell 17.5 points over, and Clippers money line, which is plus 354. Thanks for joining us here on Inside the Lines. For Jared Smith, I'm Ariel Epstein.